All right. What's up? What's up? What's up? How's it going, people? Bravo Danger, you've already joined. You are here and you are joining us right now. This is Matt from Producer School. What's up, everybody? Hope y'all are doing well. It is Saturday. It is 1 p.m. my time. Wherever you are in the world, I hope things are going well for you. Bravo Danger, if you have any specific questions, let me know. If anybody is joining us, whether you're on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Periscope, any of those, be sure to hit the share button so that we can spread the love. And I'm going to continue. I decided if you're coming back for the replay on this, you'll get this later. But I think I've decided that what I'm going to do for now is each week I'm going to pick a theme and we'll kind of cover that theme, so that way we'll have a few days covering the same kind of stuff, and then the following week I'll pick a new theme and we'll do some stuff on that new theme. So right now the tentative schedule for Producer School is going to be Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. And what I'm going to do is on every Monday, I'm going to post to the Facebook page and Instagram and Twitter, all of that. I'm going to post the class schedule each week. So that way you'll know what time on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday we're going to do class. And if you have any questions or any things you want to talk about, that way you'll know when class is going to be and I'll also tell you what the theme for the week is going to be. So for example, the theme this week that I started was music theory, because that's kind of a great place to start for anybody, and I'd had some questions about music theory. So that was the theme this week. So that was Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Today we're going to finish up music theory, and we'll come back to music theory, but I want to kind of keep switching it up so it'll stay interesting for everybody. So today we'll finish off some music theory stuff, and then if you have a theme that you'd like me to cover for next week's classes, just let me know what you're interested in. We could do something like a theme like drums. We could do mixing, mastering, DJing. I haven't even gotten into all the stuff that I've done over my career with you guys yet, and girls. So I'm looking forward to sharing some of that stuff with you. Just I guess really quickly, so you know. I am a producer and songwriter. I've had multiple songs on the charts in a variety of genres. I've worked in studios all over the world, and I'm looking forward to sharing some more of my knowledge with everybody out there because let's face it, music is awesome. So let's get started today. Once again, be sure to hit share, and if you have any specific questions, be sure to leave me a comment, or else if you want to send me a message, the best place to contact me is on the Facebook page, Music Producer School, which is where you're probably watching right now. And send me your questions, and I'll be happy to answer them right here on the live streams during class. So I wanted to get back into this music theory thing that we were covering a couple days ago and kind of finish that idea out. And what I wanted to show you is, let me pull up this board here. And what I wanted to explain was I was kind of showing this. I was showing this on the keyboard a couple days ago. And what I wanted to show was kind of on something that I could write it out with, and kind of explain a little bit better the theory behind what I was talking about with the keyboard stuff. So what I was showing last time is how we could do this little keyboard trick where you can go from C to C, and just by playing the white keys, you'll be able to play a C major scale instantly. And then the other part of the trick was, again, staying on all the white keys. If you go from A to A, you could play an A minor scale instantly. And then from those scales, you can start building chords. So what I showed last time, and you can go back on the previous stream to watch how I did it, But what I was explaining is if someone comes into the studio with you or you're working on your own song, and let's say it's not in C major and it's not in A minor, but you don't really know how to play, let's say, the keyboard that well, or you don't know music theory that well, you can use this all white keys trick and actually in your DAW transpose your keyboard into the correct key for the song that you're working on. So the example last time was the song was in, I believe, D minor. So if we're in D minor, we can transpose our A minor scale up a few semitones, and then you're able to play all this white key stuff and instantly play melodies, and it becomes super simple to start coming up with parts. That's the main thing I wanted to teach in these lessons with the theory stuff. When you go into the studio with an artist or a client, or if you're working on your own music, especially when I was in Los Angeles working with some of these big time artists and producers, the thing that I noticed about the really good ones, they could sit there and just, I would refer to them as idea generators, because you just give them a piece of music and they would be able to just come up with these endless musical ideas. And that always kind of baffled me. I was like, man, how are you just coming up with all of these ideas all the time? And what I realized is that when you understand how music theory works, you can generate just idea after idea, and it becomes a lot easier to find cool stuff. So I wanted to finish off this music theory lesson instead of on the keyboard now. I wanted to show you on this keyboard on paper, so to speak. And I wanted to kind of explain how this stuff works in the actual music theory world, okay? So instead of just saying all the white keys, I wanted to show you a couple things as far as why some of this stuff works and how it works. So let's go over to this whiteboard here. Get my pen on. There we go. Okay, so the final thing for music theory this week I wanted to explain to you. If we have a C major scale, which again was just all of the white keys, don't even worry about the black keys right now. The way that works is we have, if we just count, we have the 1 note, we have the 2, the 3, the 4, the 5, the 6, the 7, and then when we get back to that C, notice that's a C at the end here, and this is a C at the beginning. It's the same note. It's just an octave up. So instead of saying 8 right here, I'm actually just going to go back to 1. So the 1 note in a scale, and again, this is for C major. So again, I wanted to show you that the 1 note here is called the root. And that's the 1. The second one, what you're going to start learning is when you do start adding in these black keys, you're going to get into stuff called minor or major steps. So this second one is actually called the 2 major. I'll just abbreviate that. So to go from to go in a major scale, we're going to go from the first note and we're going to go what's called a major step, which means it's actually 2 semitones. So the first semitone would be the black key here, C sharp, and then the second one would be D. So that's the first part of the C scale. C to D, you're going a major second. And then the same thing for the third is also a major third. So you're going root, 1, 2 major, from the 2 major, 1 step, 3 major. All of these steps from the white key to the black key here, from here to here, that's called a semitone. So we're actually going 2 semitones, which is a major, they call it a major step, to go from C to D. And that's how we get in the first note in that C scale after we start on C. So we go 1, 2 major, 3 major. Now you would expect to go, okay, I see how it's working. I'm going to go 1, 2 semitones, F sharp. But that's not how it works. One of the trickier parts here is the 4, the number 4 note in the scale, the fourth, is actually called a perfect fourth because it doesn't involve a step in between. Do you see how there's no black key in between E and F here? That's because it's called a perfect fourth, and it's just the way the frequencies work out with these notes, that there is no flat 4. So you're going to go 3 to 4. So again, these are called whole steps. From 1 to 2 is called a whole step. 2 to 3 is a whole step. And the way the C major scale works is E to F, the third to 4, you're actually only going to do a half step. So then the same thing, the perfect fourth, and then after that, you're cool. You start from the 4, and it's the same formula. You go 1, 2 semitones, and now we have the 5. So that's going to be another whole step. And then from the 5 to the 6, we're going to go again. 1 up to G sharp, 2 on the A. That's another whole step. Same thing with A to B. We're going to go A sharp, B. So that's 1, 2, and we're on B. So from A to A sharp is 1 step. A sharp to B is 2 steps. So that's another whole major step, it's called. So then from B to C, which we're just going back to the same C, the root note, you'll notice again, there's no black key there. So to go from B to C, we're actually only going to do another one of these half steps. So in the beginning, myself included, when I was trying to learn some of these quote-unquote formulas, it was like, man, how am I going to remember how to do all these formulas or whatever? And it's pretty simple. And I will say that the easiest thing to do is to just memorize it. But the cool thing about the scales, and what a lot of people don't realize, is all you have to do is memorize really just 1 scale, but 2, if you know 2, you'll know everything. And let me show you how that works. So the scale that we just did, again, this is the C major scale. C major. So for a major scale, all you have to do is remember the formula, the steps. You're going to go whole step, a half step, whole step, whole step, whole step. And then to get back to your root, you're going to do another half step. And if you look on the keyboard here, that's what we did. Whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. Now, one of the main things I wanted to convey in this lesson is it's super important to learn the C major scale, because once you learn the C major scale, and I don't mean just know that you play the white keys, actually look at this formula and memorize it and understand how it works. Actually go to your keyboard or get a keyboard like this online and actually count out the steps. Remember, a whole step is 2 semitones. That's not going to fit there. A whole step is 2 semitones. A half step is 1 semitone. So remember, in the C major example, whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. And once you learn that, the cool thing about it is you can apply it to any key. So if your song is not in the key of C major, all you have to do is take the same formula, and let's say you started on E, for example. If I was starting on E, I could do the same formula. So to play an E major scale, I'm going to do a whole step, which is 2 semitones. 1, 2. So then I end up on F sharp. F sharp is the second note in the E major scale. Then I'm going to go another whole step. I'm going to go from F sharp to G, and then another half step. Now I'm on G sharp. That's the third note in the scale. So it just goes on like that. Now, the reason why it's important to learn, and the way that I learned it was using the C major scale, is because most people can memorize what this keyboard looks like in their head. And what I would do is, in my head, when I started learning this stuff, I would just always think about the C major scale. And I'm gonna get some of this freshed up here for us. Because the cool thing with the C major scale is that you can kind of visualize it in your brain. So whenever you get stuck and you're like, oh man, I don't remember how that works, you can always kind of visualize the C major scale. So let's say you forgot the formula, right? And you're trying to figure out, man, what was that formula again? All you have to do is remember, just think about it in your head. C, we know that the C major scale is all the white notes, right? C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. So we know if we go from C to D, we got to count that black key. So that's 1, 2 semitones. So we know that that's a whole step. Same thing from D to E. We've got to go 1, 2 semitones. That's a whole step. When we get to E to F, we say, oh, okay, well, I know the next note is F in a C major scale for sure. So all I'm doing here is just one step, which again, remember, a half step is 1 semitone. So that's what we just did right there. We just went 1 semitone, and that's our half. Same thing here with F. To get to G, we've got to go 1, F sharp, 2. That's a whole step. G to A, same thing. That's a whole step. A to B, that's a whole step. And then when we get back to C, obviously there's no black key there, so that's just a half step. So you can basically, from the C major scale alone, always figure out this formula. So again, if you're in a different key, you can go, okay, let me remember, in the C major scale, this is the formula. And then say your song is in G. You can then use this formula, and you can right there at the keyboard figure out what the G scale is instantly. So that's a pretty neat little trick there that you can use, and it's a pretty crucial part, like I said, of wanting to be able to figure this stuff out kind of on the fly if you forget how it works. Now, the same thing would apply to the minor scale, and it's a different formula. But the minor scale is, again, you can think about it on the, let me switch back over to my keyboard here. We could think about it in the realm of A. So if we know that it's all the white keys, right, in A minor, we can actually, using what I just showed you, we can figure out the formula for a minor scale now. So we could say, okay, A, and I know that the next key is going to be a white key, B, right? So I've got to go 1, 2. So that's a whole step. To get from B to C, because I know C is the next white key, that's just a half step. So you could literally, just thinking about this in your brain, and once you kind of memorize the keyboard in your brain, just an octave of it, you'll be able to think about this. Like, I would be in bed sometimes, and I would just start thinking about a keyboard, and I'd say, okay, I know A sharp, B, that's a whole step. B to C is a half step. C to D, because again, I know the next note is going to be on my D. So C to D is going to be starting from C, we've got to go half step, half step. So that's 2 half steps, a whole step. So you can start figuring out the formula on your own for this whenever you want. So again, starting on A, we're going to go a whole step, half step, whole step, whole step. E to F is another half step. F to G is another whole step. And then G to A is another whole step. So just by looking at all the white keys, you now know how to do a major scale and a minor scale. And guess what? Once you know how to do a major and a minor scale, you could pretty much play anything. So just to recap that, in case anybody's confused on the minor scale. So again, we just did the major scale over here. So starting on the A, remember we went from, I'm going to write out the minor scale formula here. So remember, from A to B was a whole step. So this is the minor scale formula. B to C was a half step. Let's start back over here. C to D was another whole step. D to E is another whole step. E to F was a half step. F to G was a whole step. And G to A is another whole step. So those are both the formulas for major and minor scales now. You see, they're just a little bit different. But like I said, using all the white keys, you can always, if you forget the formula, you can always in your brain think about the white keys on the keyboard. C major scale will give you the formula for the for any major scale, and then the A minor scale will give you the formula for any minor scale. And pretty soon you keep going over it, you'll remember it and you'll commit it to memory, and it'll be simple. The only thing after that is to start trying to practice it on the keyboard or guitar or whatever your instrument may be, or even again in the DAW. You know, if I'm in Ableton and I'm trying to you know, play a melody, but I'm just kind of clicking the notes in, again, you can think about this formula and say, okay, well, I'm not even going to probably try that note because it's not in the scale. So I wanted to cover that today to kind of write out so you could actually just see on paper, because for me, I learned both seeing the actual scales played, but I also retained it better if I could see it written out like that. So I hope that was kind of helpful for you guys. What's up? I don't know how to read that Chinese lettering there, but I remember you, my friend, from the last couple streams. I checked out your song. It was cool. Thanks for sending it over. Actually, I wanted to mention to you guys also, for whoever's watching right now, I'm going to, I think actually I can't put it in the comments right now, so let me go ahead and put it this way. I wanted to show you guys, let me go back to my screen here, and I wanted to show you guys, if you go to musicproducer.school, it'll pull up my website. Joey, that's right. What's up, Joey? Good to see you. I checked out your tune. That was cool. Let me know if you had any specific questions about it, and I'd be happy to help. If you go to my website here, and you'll see under here, featured products. In case anybody missed it last time, I put up these inspirational quotes for producers, which are just these nice, big studio kind of backgrounds with some inspirational messages on them. And it's 365 of them. So what I like to do is I put them in my desktop on my computer. So every day when I start my computer up, it'll bring up a new wallpaper and it'll show me a little inspirational quote to get me motivated. And it's got a nice kind of studio background just to kind of, you know, pump you up, because we all like to look at studios and gear, of course. So I wanted to remind you guys to go grab that. That is free on my website. The other thing I have up there is the MIDI chord bank, which I actually have a video on. So if you go to the website under product details right here, you can check out the video that I made on how to use that and what it is if you're interested. But the reason I'm bringing this up is I wanted to mention this MIDI chord bank is normally $30. But since you guys are joining me here on the live stream, I wanted to give you a code, and I'm not going to post this anywhere, but I'm just going to put the code up for you. So if you type in the code Facebook Live, all one word, that code will give you 75% off of any of the products on my store right now. So I only have those two up right now. I have a bunch of other products that I haven't put up on the store yet, but just right now, if you type in Facebook Live for the coupon code for the MIDI chord bank, it'll give you 75% off. So that's going to be like, it'll cost you like maybe $7 or $8, something like that. So if you're interested in getting the MIDI chord bank, is hundreds of MIDI chords. So while you're producing, you can just pull up an instrument, a synth, a piano, whatever, and you can literally just drag and drop all of these chords. And let me show you in my Ableton session here. I can show you kind of what they look like as far as how they're organized. So if you get the MIDI chord bank, I have it organized into keys. So you just figure out what key your song is. And then I have all of the chords in here. And you can see it's just a ton of chords. And it's not just the basic chords. It's a lot of extended, kind of cooler sounding chords. So if you're interested in that, once again, go check out the video on Music Producer School. And I'll be running this code for a while if you want to go grab that. And again, for free, you can go grab the inspirational quotes. That's just my gift to you, trying to keep everybody motivated and keep you producing. So once again, you guys, this week I wanted to focus on music theory. If you missed anything because you joined us late, go back to the beginning of the video when I finish here in a minute. And I hope that was a helpful explanation for today. I don't want to go too complicated. It doesn't get much more complicated than this, but I wanted to show you how to figure out those formulas, because the worst feeling in the world is working with an artist, or even if you're working on your own song and you get stuck and you're just like, yeah, you're kind of poking around on the keyboard, but you don't really know what to play. I promise you, once you learn how to do these scale formulas, you'll be coming up with melodies all day long. And that's when it gets really fun, because for me, I was always a really good arranger. So when a client would come into my studio he was also like a producer and he would make a beat, for example, I would always be really good at taking his parts and kind of, arranging them so that the song sounded really cool. But myself, the thing I struggled with was coming up with these parts. I could always do drums pretty well, but coming up with the melodies was always kind of tough for me. Until I finally one day, I said, you know what? I'm learning how these scales work. And like I said, it was difficult at first because I was like, man, I'm not going to be able to memorize these formulas. But once again, if you just think about what we just covered with the white keys in that example, that I just showed on the whiteboard there, you can always go to these scales just on the white keys, and the formulas are right there in front of you. So again, if you missed any of that, go back to the beginning of this stream and I explain it and I write it all out on a whiteboard. I think it's a little bit easier to understand that way. So I haven't decided, also in case you're just joining us, I decided that each week I'm going to pick a new theme to cover. So this week's theme was music theory. I haven't decided on the theme coming up this week, but I'm going to post it to the Facebook page and I'll post it to all the social media pages. But I'm also going to post the class schedule with that, which will tell you, again, the class schedule right now is going to be Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. And I'll put the times in there. So on Monday, be looking out for a post that'll tell you what the theme of the week is going to be. and what the times for Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday are going to be. So that way you can better prepare and know when to come catch me on here. Again, if you have a suggestion for what kind of theme you'd like me to cover during the week, it could be anything like drums. We could do mixing, mastering. I'm even down to do some DJing stuff because I've been DJing for many years as well. I'm also going to get into stuff eventually like video editing because let's face it, you got to have videos to go with your stuff. Even maybe some graphic type stuff. How to market yourself on social media. That's a big one because if your music might be the best in the world, but if nobody knows about it, how's anybody going to know about it? So I'm interested in covering all of this stuff to help you guys. Like I said, I've gotten my own songs played in stadiums, on the charts around the world, and I'd definitely like to show you guys how I did some of that. So again, leave me a message or leave a comment somewhere. Let me know what kind of theme you'd like me to cover. We could even do a theme one week on, say, like reverb or recording vocals or how to use auto-tune the right way, how to edit certain things. Any of that stuff is fair game. So if you have any questions about anything at all like that, leave me a message or a comment and tell me what kind of stuff you're interested in. And also, if you wouldn't mind, leave me a comment on this stream and let me know what DAW you're using. I use Ableton a lot. I also use Pro Tools a good bit. I've used Logic, FL Studio, Persona Studio One, Reaper. I've looked at Bitwig a little bit. So if you wouldn't mind, leave me a comment and let me know what DAW you're using so that way I can start preparing some stuff for that as well. And don't forget, go to the website, musicproducer.school, throw in this Facebook Live discount code, and that's going to get you 75% off of the MIDI chord bank. And I'll probably leave it up for a few days, so go check that out. And again, look out Monday. I'll be posting the theme for the week, and I'll be posting the class schedule. Y'all go make some music. Yeah, Joey, what's up? Yeah, Reaper is cool. And GarageBand, yeah, honestly, I have guys that I work with, professional studio musicians, that they're not really so much producers. They're just more like musicians, keyboard, guitar, whatever. And if I work with them remotely, a lot of times I'll just have them do a GarageBand session because that's what they're comfortable with. And I'll just have them send me the GarageBand session. I'll open up GarageBand on my own computer. And honestly, from what I've seen, GarageBand can do everything pretty much that you would ever need. So yeah, FL, Reaper, and GarageBand are excellent choices. So we're going to cover all of those throughout this. So I appreciate the comment there, Joey. Make sure y'all share the stream and be sure at the very least to go pick up those inspirational producer quotes because I love looking at studios every day and I love a little motivation every day. So y'all go make some music. Have a good weekend, and I will be posting Monday with the class schedule. I appreciate y'all. Have a good weekend, and I will see you most likely again on Tuesday. Be looking for that class schedule, and have a good one. I'll see you next time.